War. War never changes. And if you've played Fallout 4, you will have heard this said many times. And if you've also played Fallout 4, that means you've played a video game that was a direct ripoff of this role-playing game put out by TSR.
That's my stance. I gotta say it.
It's pretty bad. Reading the backstory of Gamma World and then having played any of the Fallout games.
Which I love.
I love the Fallout games. Fallout 4 is one of my
it.
favorite video games of all time.
It is my favorite.
Immaculate. But they did take a few creative liberties. And by creative liberties, I mean they just stole what these guys did. But
although, did they really steal them, or was it just that the influence of this game was so strong
no,
that it couldn't be avoided?
no, I think
They stole them.
I think they stole them outright. But recently, we had the honor, nay, the privilege of playing this game with some of our friends, and we had an absolutely spiffing time. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you all about our experiences with science fantasy role-playing game, Gamma World.
Let's take a look.
Let's. It was fun.
It really was.
Yeah, we had a good time.
But let's talk a little bit about Gamma World.
Sure.
Gamma World, I only have this reprint that's available at Drive-Thru RPG. I'm still trying to find the box set. I will let you know when I get it. But Gamma World came out in 1978. It was published by TSR. It was the post-apocalypse role-playing game that TSR was trying to push back at that time, right about the time that they were starting to come out with the basic D&D boxed sets, things like that. And my friend John picked up a copy of the boxed set of Gamma World, and that was the first time I played it. It was probably, it was 1978, it was probably around 1980. And when we first played it, I absolutely loved the game.
It's fun.
And the problem was, we only played it about 3 times, maybe 2 times, and I have not played it since then. So from 1980 to 2022, that's a long span of time to not. That's a long time to not play a game that I really enjoyed. And so just the other day, I essentially told our group that
the gang
that if we wanted to play a role-playing game, it was gonna have to be Gamma World. And
initially, I will say, we were not thrilled.
There was disappointment.
Because it had been a little while since we played Dungeons & Dragons, and we wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons. But I'm glad, well, I'm not glad that we didn't. I still had fun.
You're happy that we played something else.
No.
You
but
are.
I did enjoy playing Gamma World. It was a lovely, lovely time. Basically, for those of you who have never heard of Gamma World before, there's been a nuclear war.
Well, yeah. There's been an apocalyptic
war. There's been an apocalyptic war. A
lot of radiation involved.
There's been a nuclear war. And this is set, what, 200 years after said war?
200-300 maybe?
Yeah, something like
Quite
that.
a bit.
And basically, you're just a person in this new age of human society, which is after all this huge war has been fought, everything's broken down, and you're trying to survive. You're trying to do your thing.
Now, the great thing about Gamma World, what I really enjoy about it, is when you're creating a character, creating characters can actually take a long time because your characters have mutations. They can. You can be what's called a pure strain human, which means that you have no mutations, but that's not fun. The fun part is for your character to have mutations, which include a variety of different things.
Some of them are really fun.
Right, laser beam eyes. You know, I mean, it kind of runs the spectrum. But you can also have defects that are mutations, which can cause you problems. Somebody ended up being extremely, extremely short.
2 feet tall.
But at the
with a huge left foot.
Yes, but at the same time, that opens the door for a lot of really good role-playing.
It does. And actually, some of them are very, very cool. I just had bad rolls. So unless you get unlucky with your rolls, you're going to get some cool stuff that you're able to do. And you can use these. You can use a lot of these in very creative ways. And that it's a very, like, there's no character classes in this. There's nothing like that. You're just kind of a character that exists.
It's your mutations really that are the focus of
the differentiator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what kind of makes this fun, is you could play this game endless numbers of times with endless numbers of characters, and it would be very, very, very unlikely you have even a similar character two different times.
Well, and you can also be, you can be not only a mutated human, you can also play a mutated animal. And the great thing about Gamma World is that a lot of the decisions for how you would play a mutated animal are left up to the player and the game master. So there's not a rule for every last thing, which means it's open-ended to interpretation, which means to me that it's a cool game.
Yeah.
Because you have, as a player, you have to trust your dungeon master, and as a dungeon master, you have to let your players have some leash to be able to go and do things without getting carried away. But just in this thin volume here, this is 50, 60 pages. Most of this, I would say the rules, maybe 15, 20 pages.
Yeah.
The rest of it is weapons and armor and mutated monsters that you might end up coming across. Quite a bit packed into this little game.
That
This
is,
little sheet.
speaking of weapons, my one complaint that I have with this game. Because when we started off, we just had clubs and spears and hammers and things like that, which for D&D is fantastic. But look at all these cool things that these little guys on the cover are carrying around.
He wanted power armor.
I wanted a gun because my guy was 2 feet tall, and I thought that would
First out of the
help.
Played 20 minutes. He wants power armor and a gun.
Yeah, I do.
That's how he is.
Yeah,
The younger generation.
The younger generation. When it comes to something that's science fiction themed, I don't want a club. No.
But that's what makes it fun, is you have to go and find said cool thingy, and then you can toss your club aside. Impatience.
Kids these days.
Anyway, I ended up running a scenario that I didn't write it up myself. I wanted to see how the game went over with the players before we went too far. Before I went too far with designing an entire Gamma world. My goal, as you know, is to make it so that the Gamma world, now that I'm going to actually develop it, is accessible also through my D&D world. Not easily, but it is something where a player character from my D&D world could inadvertently find themselves in this campaign.
Multiverse,
right?
Shall we say?
There you go. I really think that. See what ended up happening with you guys. You ended up.
Well, we were scrappers, basically, like scavenger people who went and found technology of the ancients, which is people who were alive before the war happened or during the war. And we would just hunt down their technology, and then we'd go and sell it, was basically what we did for a living.
Which you never got to do, but that was what
that was
your profession.
Our background of our characters. That's what we did. So we made our way into... We were living in a desert. We made our way into a really tall tower that was sticking up out of the desert all of a sudden. It was made of metal. We got inside, and we got in a big fight that we somehow managed to win.
With some snake men.
With some snake men.
Hissers,
like half snake, half people. So we got in a big old battle with them. Won. Then we went down some stairs in the tower underneath the sand into what I can only describe as a big airport, but I think it was a spaceport. It wasn't necessarily an airport.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Do, but
my character can't really read that well, so he doesn't know exactly where he is.
Which was fun for me.
That was pretty funny.
And you guys getting frustrated because I would give you these warped words.
Yeah,
that...
instead of lounge, we went into the Lowungi. What were some of the other ones?
Oh, there was a different
mena.
name.
Instead of a menu, it was a mena.
The
in
mena.
A restaurant.
What was, and it was kind of fun because the players started getting into it and then coming up with. Bill came up with instead of a restaurant, what was it? It was a
rest-eatery.
Rest-eatery. That was what a rest-eatery.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity for fun in this game too. And you guys just barely scratched the surface. You haven't got to the cool parts yet, and I can't give any details away because they're probably going to play it again.
Yeah, but we did. It was a very fun adventure, kind of going through this spaceport that had been buried in sand, essentially. So we were just exploring, and it was very fun. I will say, as much as I adore Dungeons and Dragons, it was fun to be able to have that kind of dungeon delving adventure in a different setting.
Yes,
and having played most of the Fallout games the entire time, I was just picturing basically a 1950s retro kind of place that we were wandering through, and that was a lot of fun. That was really fun.
In fact, I was actually trying to find the soundtrack to Fallout 4 so that I could play some of that.
Yeah.
But and it was great as well because we had a friend of mine there who has not played really face to face with us. At least, I guess he did once.
Like 4 or 5 years
Several years ago, but a friend of mine who used to play with us regularly clear back in 1979, 1980, this was the first real sit down and play that we've been able to have with him. And the last time I played Gamma World, he was actually there. So, Gene was the person that I'm talking about. So it was a lot of fun to have him there because he's an excellent player. And he really helped to kind of set the tone for how this particular game should be approached. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a lovely time overall. Very much enjoyed it.
But we're just bringing you, we just wanted to tell you that this is our one of our new opportunities to play. We'll be talking about Gamma World again going forward. If you want some more detail, just let us know. We can always actually do a video that talks in depth about Gamma World.
After we have a little bit more experience with it, because it's the first time I've ever played it.
And it's been 40 years or so since I last played it, so we're still coming to grips with it, but it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend, again, go to Drive-Thru RPG. You can pick this up for just a few dollars. It's not very expensive at all. There are some issues with it that, as the game master, I'm going to be going back in and changing because I think some of the mutations are a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, some of them are really powerful, and some of them are completely debilitating.
Yeah, and some of the really powerful ones are kind of weird too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that they might have had something different in mind than what it ended up being. But this game was popular enough. I want to say that they went through 4, 5, 6, I mean, quite a few versions of Gamma World.
That's what you said, yeah, there were a few different editions.
And so, it was popular enough to keep going. But I know some people who swear by this game. And, all the little problems notwithstanding, we still had a good time with it.
Yeah.
And once we get some of those other things ironed out and get it, there's that stage when you're learning to play an RPG that your brain has to wrap itself around the charts and the tables and all of those things and have it readily accessible rather than flipping through the book to try and find the whatever. Once we get to that stage, I think it's going to be more fun.
And there aren't that many to memorize.
They're not.
It's not like
they're not. It's not a difficult game at all.
It's not Dungeons and Dragons.
It is for
30 different rule books.
I'm old, but that's the way it goes.
But if you're looking for a role-playing game with a little bit different of a theme, this is one that we think you should check out.
Yes,
because it is very, very fun. Offers a good cross between science fiction and post-apocalypse radiation. Yep. It's Fallout. It's Fallout. If you like Fallout, this is the game for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to mention that this was one of our games that we've played recently that we highly recommend it. And hopefully you'll go out and pick yourself up a copy. And at least, if nothing else, read through it and just familiarize yourself with another TSR game from the late 1970s that emphasized role-playing.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going on.
But, yeah. Look at the links down below.
Yes.
That's all we got, isn't it?
That's all we have. Gamma World, TSR, 1978.
Woo!
Play it. And we'll give you updates from time to time about how our game progresses.
And let us know about your experiences with Gamma World.
If you've played it, let us know.
We want to hear about your guys' Gamma World experiences so we can they can influence our games and
if
how
you
we play.
Because I have to imagine that some of you who have played this game have homebrewed it. I would like to know what you've done with your homebrew rules because I'm going to be doing the same with it. Let us know what you've done so that I can steal some of your ideas.
Absolutely. And cross your fingers for me that the next time we play, my 2-foot-tall little man will find a gun because he wants one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But check out everything in the description below. All the links to our other stuff, Instagram, Ko-fi/Patreon, depending. Well, actually, this is going to be on the Patreon page, isn't it?
Probably, yes, I think it is.
Yeah, welcome to the Patreon page.
Yes, there we go.
How do you like the place? We just put it together.
Or that this one might not be. I don't know. We'll have to see.
If not, then
you're not where you.
Oh my God!
Isn't
this a great YouTube channel? It's beautiful.
Okay, we've wasted enough people's time.
Yes, but thank you so much for coming by. Check out all the links in the description below. Anything you could ever need for Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing game content is down there. We'll see you next time.
I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Next time. I'm Jim.
I'm Alex.
Keep your sword on.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.